unanswered questions is so much part of his writing style, and it's something that carries over into this film. Just one of a million different examples is all of my scenes with Ray in the prison, I feel may or may not be real. They might be me grappling with my conscience or having some kind of interior monologue, or you know, he might be a ghost of my dad, or he might just be exactly who he says he is. And you know, we certainly played the scenes for real, but you don't have to, the audience isn't being asked to make a decision about that. And for the story to work, it doesn't require a decision.
I remember in the show there were occasionally dreams, and David was very adamant that we never do anything to indicate that it's a dream. You know, you don't shoot it in a certain way or have the screen, you know, do this or something. And so I certainly feel the same way, but...
A hand just comes out of the ice bucket or whatever.
What do you want, Richard? I'll be honest with you.
I want money.
I want to do a good deed.
Is it more challenging to play characters that are quieter than more talkative than more gregarious?
I mean, it might have been early on in my career, and then you realize that you just got to keep it low and simple, whatever the part is. So I just was flattered, and it was fun. I just wanted to work with David Chase and Alan.
But I mean, we cast Ray in that sort of off-kilter way that I'm not sure we can have spoilers in this conversation, but and then it was really up to Ray to find the voice for both characters, and that the stillness that he created for the second character was key, and it sort of fit in with your idea that this may or may not be real. I mean, in my mind, this is sort of the imagined perfect father to talk to. That.
Yeah, it did all the work, having the same, you know, having Ray playing both those characters so that we didn't have to play it like a dream. But for me, you know, part of the pleasure of those scenes and working with Ray was that we shot the scenes with Ray as Hollywood in the very beginning of the shoot, and then we shot all those scenes in the prison at the very end of the shoot. In fact, the last like day or two, we shot all those scenes, and so he arrived in the beginning, and you know, as Hollywood, and you know, he looked a certain way and was you know, acting a certain way, and then he disappeared for however many weeks, and then he came back, you know, having lost like I don't know 30 or 40 pounds. He was like this chiseled kind of you know, incredibly sort of like Buddha-like figure. And it was just great, like having this sort of other person arrive a couple months later and sit down and be doing scenes with him, this other guy.
So the real question is, how did you lose 30 pounds in 3 weeks? 'Cause I want that secret.
Noom.
Noom.
He took
the fat pad.
Yeah. Go ahead, take it off.
I wish it was that easy.
We knew those scenes were going to be interesting and great, but I don't think I realized how great. When we started watching rough cuts of the movie, it was like those scenes between you sort of started to rise up as things that we really trusted, I think, and really felt good about. Because that's one of the areas in the movie that we did not change much at all.
Well, I always saw those scenes also as like a proxy for Dr. Melfi, and that you know, this movie is like before Shrinks, really, or just the beginning of it, like talking about pills and Elavil to like, you know, fix your mood or whatever was a novel idea at this point. And certainly for a guy like Dickie sitting down with, you know, to talk to a shrink was just, you know, completely unheard of. And so the closest thing I get is a murderer in prison who doubles as my confessor. But it was, you know, to me, it was those really were stand-ins for the scenes between Tony and Lorraine Bracco.
Yeah, totally. I mean, when we play characters that don't talk so much, then we're doing a heck of a lot more listening, you know, and that is that an aspect that.
And the great thing is the same way that Tony, in all those scenes with Dr. Melfi, comes in to unburden himself and open up, he just lies to her all over and over again. I come in to the prison like over and over again, clearly wanting to, treat him like my priest or something and confess, and I just keep lying to him as well.